In 2010, 7 siblings were born. See how they are today, 15 years later. Jennifer Taylor felt her world crumbling when the doctors confirmed her pregnancy was with natural septuplets, something that happens in only 1 out of every 45 million pregnancies. At 30 years old, the public school teacher from the Hope Valley neighborhood in Chicago knew her life would never be the same again. 7 babies. "How will we manage?" she whispered to Michael, her mechanic husband, who held her trembling hands in the doctor's office. Dr. William Johnson, a specialist in multiple pregnancies, adjusted his glasses and spoke in a serious tone. "Jennifer, I need to be honest with you. A septuplet pregnancy carries enormous risks for both you and the babies. The most recommended course would be a selective reduction." "Selective reduction?" Jennifer didn't understand the medical term. "It means choosing some babies, so the others have a better chance of survival," the doctor explained, avoiding more direct words. Michael turned pale. Jennifer felt a deep anger growing in her chest. "Doctor, all these babies are my children. I won't give up on any of them." "Jennifer, you don't understand the seriousness." "I understand perfectly," she interrupted, placing her hand on her still small belly. "These 7 babies will be born. All of them." Michael took a deep breath. Even knowing the difficulties ahead, he supported his wife. "We'll manage, doctor. Somehow we'll manage." In the following months, Jennifer had to stop working in her 5th month of pregnancy. Her body could no longer carry 7 babies. Michael doubled his shifts at Mr. Peterson's shop, working 7 days a week to save enough money for the delivery and the first few months. The 2-bedroom house in Riverside Heights became too small. They sold their car and got a loan to expand the property, adding another bedroom and remodeling the kitchen. Grandma Dorothy, Jennifer's mother, moved in to help with preparations. One morning in July 2010, at 32 weeks pregnant, Jennifer felt strong pains. Michael rushed her to Mercy General Hospital. The medical team had been prepared for weeks for this moment. "We'll have to deliver now," announced Dr. Sarah Williams, the obstetrician in charge of the case. "But there are still 2 months left," Jennifer cried, frightened. "The babies can't wait any longer. Your uterus can't stretch any further." During 4 hours of surgery were born Jacob, Ethan, Emma, Olivia, William, Charlotte, and Daniel. 7 tiny human beings weighing between 2.6 pounds and 4 pounds each. All went straight to the neonatal ICU. Jennifer could only see her children 3 days after the surgery. When she entered the neonatal ICU for the first time, her legs trembled. 7 incubators in a row, each with one of her babies connected to various machines. "They'll be fine," said Nurse Margaret, a 50-year-old woman who had worked in the ICU for 20 years. "I've seen many cases like this. Your babies are fighters." Dear listener, if you're enjoying the story, please take a moment to like and especially subscribe to the channel. It really helps us who are just starting out. Now continuing. Michael spent his mornings at the shop and his afternoons at the hospital. Jennifer practically lived in the ICU waiting room. She had memorized the timing of every procedure, knew all the nurses by name, and could interpret every beep from the machines. At the hospital, the bills began to pile up. Even with Medicaid covering most of the costs, expenses for special medications, equipment, and the long hospital stay generated astronomical amounts. Michael had to borrow money from his brother-in-law, from co-workers at the shop, and even from former customers. "Michael, you're working too much," said Mr. Peterson, the shop owner, upon seeing his employee sleeping on his feet. "I have no choice, Mr. Peterson. There are 7 mouths to feed when they leave the hospital. Look, I understand your situation. I'll increase your salary by 30%. You're a good employee and need to take care of your family." After 2.5 months in the hospital, Jacob was the first to be discharged. Jennifer cried with emotion, holding her son at home for the first time. Next came Emma and William. Olivia had respiratory complications and stayed another week. Ethan, Charlotte, and Daniel were discharged together in the last week of October. When everyone was finally home, Jennifer understood what it meant to care for septuplets. It was 42 bottles a day, 35 diaper changes, 7 baths, and practically no uninterrupted sleep. Michael came home from work at 7 p.m. and took the night shift until 5 a.m. Grandma Dorothy became a key part of the routine. She organized a military-like system. Bottles prepared every 2 hours, clothes color-coded for each baby, timed bath schedules, and a weight and development tracking spreadsheet. "Jennifer, you need to rest," Michael would say, seeing his wife with deep dark circles and hands sore from so much work. "How can I rest with 7 babies, Michael? If I stop, who will take care of them?" The first major difficulty came in the 3rd month. Daniel developed serious respiratory problems and had to return to the hospital. The medical bills started piling up again. Michael had to miss 3 days of work to stay with his son, and Mr. Peterson was not at all pleased. "Michael, I understand your situation, but the shop can't stop. You've been missing too much work," warned the boss. "Mr. Peterson, my son is in the hospital. I can't abandon him. Look, I'll be clear. Either you come to work regularly, or I'll have to hire someone else." Michael returned to work with a heavy heart. Jennifer stayed alone at the hospital with Daniel, while Grandma Dorothy cared for the other 6 at home. The situation was becoming unsustainable. That's when the first unexpected help arrived. Sister Margaret, the principal of the school where Jennifer worked, organized a collection among teachers and staff. In 2 weeks, they raised $200. "Jennifer, this school is a family," said Sister Margaret, handing over the money. "You've always helped all of us. Now it's our turn to help you." The news of the septuplets began to spread through the neighborhood. Mrs. Thompson from the bakery started setting aside leftover bread at the end of the day. Mr. Wilson from the grocery store created special promotions every time Jennifer went shopping. The Riverside Heights community quietly mobilized to help the family. When the babies turned 6 months old, a local newspaper reporter discovered the story. Journalist Christopher Hayes went to the family's home and was impressed with the household organization. "How do you manage?" asked Christopher, watching Jennifer feed 3 babies at once. "We take it one day at a time," she replied with a tired smile. The story was published on the front page of the East Side Herald under the headline, "Riverside Heights Family Raises Septuplets with Love and Military Organization." The response was immediate. For a week, the family's home became a visitation point. People wanted to meet the famous septuplets, bring donations, and take pictures. Jennifer was torn between gratitude for the help and discomfort with the exposure. "Michael, people have been knocking on our door since 6 in the morning, Jennifer complained. "The babies can't sleep with all this noise. I know it's hard, honey, but this is the only way we can get help." Among the visitors appeared Samantha Brown, a producer from a local television station. She proposed making a documentary about the family, following the septuplets' growth for 1 year. "We would pay you $500 per month to follow the family's routine," explained Samantha. "It would just be 1 filming per week, very discreet." Michael looked at Jennifer. $500 would make a big difference in their tight budget. "Are you sure it won't disrupt the children's routine?" asked Jennifer. "We guarantee everything will feel very natural. We want to show what real life is like for a family with septuplets." They accepted the proposal. For 6 months, the cameras followed their daily life at home. Daniel had completely recovered from his breathing problems. Emma and Olivia showed very different personalities. Emma was calmer and more observant, while Olivia cried whenever she wanted attention. Jacob and Ethan seemed to have a special communication between them, always laughing when they were together. William was the most active, trying to crawl before the others. Charlotte had a smile that could melt anyone's heart. But what was supposed to be financial help turned into a source of stress. The production team wanted to create dramatic situations that didn't happen naturally. Samantha pressured Jennifer to talk about their financial difficulties in a more dramatic way. "Jennifer, you need to show more emotion when you talk about the problems. The audience needs to feel for you," Samantha said during filming. "But I don't want to turn my family into a TV drama," Jennifer retorted. "That's how television works. If you want people to relate and help, you need to show vulnerability." Jennifer began to feel used. That wasn't her real family being shown on television, but a dramatized version to generate ratings. The situation worsened when Michael lost his job. Mr. Peterson claimed that the media exposure was disrupting work at the shop, with many people showing up to meet the father of the septuplets. "Michael, you understand this has turned into a circus," said Mr. Peterson. "My customers come here wanting to talk about your children instead of fixing their cars." "But Mr. Peterson, I've always been a good employee. I never mixed my personal life with work." "It's not your fault, but I can't keep you here. The situation has gotten out of control." Michael came home devastated. The septuplets were a year and a half old, starting to walk, and needed even more attention. Without the income from the shop, the family relied only on the $500 from the production company and sporadic donations. "Jennifer, I don't know what to do anymore," Michael vented. "I looked for work at 5 shops this week. Everyone knows me because of the TV show, but no one wants to hire me." "We'll find a solution," said Jennifer, hugging her husband. "We always do." But the pressure was taking its toll. Michael started drinking to forget his problems. It wasn't anything excessive at first, just an extra beer at the end of the day. Jennifer noticed, but chose not to comment. The documentary aired in December 2011, when the septuplets turned a year and a half. The show had high ratings and sparked a wave of solidarity. For 2 weeks, the family received donations from all over the country: diapers, clothes, toys, money. But fame also brought unexpected problems. People started showing up at the house claiming to be distant relatives. A man said he was Michael's brother and asked to borrow money. A woman claimed to be Jennifer's cousin and wanted to help by taking care of the children. "Michael, something strange is going on," said Jennifer. "This woman who says she's my cousin, I've never seen her in my life." "Jennifer, you're being paranoid. People just want to help." "It's not paranoia. Someone was in our backyard last night. I found the clothes from the line on the ground." Michael was becoming more and more distant. Unemployment and the pressure of providing for 9 people made him irritable and depressed. He started leaving home without warning and coming back late, always smelling of alcohol. Dear listener, if you're enjoying the story, please take a moment to leave a like and especially subscribe to the channel. This really helps us who are just starting out. Now, continuing. The first big revelation came unexpectedly. Grandma Dorothy was organizing the family documents when she found a letter that had arrived by mail. It was from a woman named Jessica from Milwaukee, saying that Michael was the father of her 3-year-old daughter. "Jennifer, you need to see this," said Grandma Dorothy, handing over the letter with trembling hands. Jennifer read the letter 3 times before fully understanding it. Jessica explained that Michael had been looking for her for 3 years, since before the birth of the septuplets. She had photos, saved conversations, and even a paternity test. When Michael came home that night, Jennifer was waiting in the living room with the letter in her hand. "What is this, Michael?" she asked, showing him the paper. Michael turned pale. For a moment he thought about denying it, but he saw it would be no use. "Jennifer, I can explain..." "Explain what?" "That you have another family. That while I was pregnant with septuplets, you were with another woman." "It's not quite like that. Jessica and I... It was before I knew about your pregnancy. When I found out about the babies, I ended everything with her. But she says here that you kept visiting your daughter after the septuplets were born." Michael couldn't answer. Jennifer felt her world collapse for the second time in 2 years. "Get out of my house," she said with a firm voice. "Jennifer, please. We can talk." "Get out of my house," she shouted, waking the septuplets who started crying in their rooms. Michael left that night and never came back. For a week, Jennifer took care of her 7 2-year-old children alone. Grandma Dorothy helped, but she was 68 years old and couldn't keep up with the children's pace. It was Sister Margaret who brought the news a week later. "Jennifer, Michael has left for Milwaukee. He's living with that woman and their daughter." Jennifer didn't cry in front of the principal. She waited until night when the children were asleep to break down in tears. How would she manage to raise 7 children alone? The answer came from the Riverside Heights community itself. The mothers from the school where Jennifer worked organized themselves to create a support network. Each one would take care of 2 or 3 children for a few hours each week, allowing Jennifer to work part-time as a substitute teacher. "Jennifer, you're not alone," said Karen, mother of a student. "We all know how hard it is to raise children. We're going to help you." Mrs. White, a 72-year-old neighbor, offered to watch the children on Tuesday and Thursday mornings. Mr. Mark, retired, started doing small repairs around the house without charging anything. "Why are you all doing this?" asked Jennifer, moved by so much solidarity. "Because that's how a real community works," replied Mrs. White. "When one is in need, everyone helps." But the financial challenges remained enormous. 7 two-year-old children consume a lot: food, diapers, clothes, medicine. Jennifer got a part-time job at another school, but the salary barely covered basic expenses. That's when she had an idea. Jennifer had always been a good cook, especially with sweets. She started making gourmet brigadeiros to sell at the school and in the neighborhood. The first use, $50 per week, turned into $200 when orders increased. "Mom, can I help?" asked Jacob, who at 3 years old was already showing an interest in cooking. "Of course you can, sweetheart. You can help me decorate the brigadeiros." Gradually, all the septuplets were incorporated into the process. Emma separated the candy cups, Olivia washed the utensils, William organized the orders, Ethan packaged the sweets, Charlotte decorated with sprinkles, and Daniel delivered to the neighbors. The small family business grew. Jennifer managed to rent a small space at the neighborhood Sunday market. Septuplets sweets became famous in the area. In 2014, when the children were 4 years old, an unexpected opportunity arose. Henry Almond, a businessman who owned a chain of bakeries, heard about the family's story and proposed a partnership. "Jennifer, I want to sell your sweets in my 5 stores," said Henry. "I can guarantee you $2,000 per month, plus a share of the sales." It was the chance Jennifer needed to stabilize her finances. But Henry had one condition. He wanted to use the septuplets' image to promote the sweets. "I'll create an advertising campaign with the children. Sweets made with the love of 7 hearts," explained Henry. Jennifer was hesitant. On one hand, it was a unique financial opportunity. On the other, it meant exposing her children again. "Can I think about it?" asked Jennifer. "Of course, but know that this is a one-time offer. I won't wait long." Jennifer spoke with Grandma Dorothy and Sister Margaret. Both advised her to accept the proposal. "Jennifer, you can't turn down an opportunity like this," said Sister Margaret. "It's the chance to give your children a better life." "But I don't want them to grow up being known only as the septuplets. They are individuals." "You can accept the proposal now and, in the future, when you're more stable, make other choices." Jennifer accepted the proposal. For 6 months, the faces of the septuplets were featured on posters in Henry's bakeries. Sweet sales skyrocketed, and Jennifer managed to buy a used car and completely renovate the house. But in September 2014, she discovered that Henry wasn't paying the required taxes on the partnership. Worse yet, he was withholding information about the actual sales figures. "Henry, you told me sales were used $5,000 per month, but here the report says use $12,000, confronted Jennifer. "Jennifer, you don't understand how the business world works. There are costs you don't see." "What costs?" "I supply the finished sweets, you just resell them. Marketing, advertising, store space rental, all that has a cost." Jennifer realized she was being cheated. She sought a lawyer recommended by Sister Margaret and discovered she was entitled to much more money. The legal battle lasted 8 months. Henry tried to prove that Jennifer had broken the contract by questioning the figures. He even claimed that the quality of the sweets had declined. During this period, Jennifer went back to selling only at the market and for small orders. Money became tight again, but she preferred to maintain her dignity rather than accept being cheated. The legal victory came in May 2015. Jennifer received a $15,000 in unpaid difference and was free to run her business as she wished. "Mom, did you win?" asked Emma, who at 5 years old already understood a bit of the situation. "Yes, my dear. Justice recognized that we were right." "And now will we be rich?" asked William, always direct. "Not rich, son, but we'll have peace of mind to work without anyone cheating us." With the compensation money, Jennifer opened a savings account for each of the septuplets. She divided the amount into 7 equal parts and deposited $2,000 for each child, promising never to touch that money. "This money is yours," she explained to her children. "When you grow up, You can use it to study or pursue your dreams. The following years were calmer. Jennifer expanded the sweet business, now with her own registered brand, Jennifer's Sweets. She managed to rent a small commercial space and hire 2 employees from the community itself. The septuplets grew up showing very distinct personalities. Jacob was interested in cooking and always helped Jennifer in the kitchen. Emma liked to read and spent hours with books she received from the school library. Olivia was artistic, always drawing and making up stories. William was athletic, never sitting still for a minute. Ethan had a way with numbers and organized their mother's business accounts. Charlotte was the most affectionate, always taking care of her siblings when someone got hurt. Daniel was funny, always making the others laugh with his jokes. In 2016, when they turned 6, something happened that Jennifer didn't expect. Michael showed up at her door one Saturday afternoon. "Hi, Jennifer," he said, hat in hand and looking older. "What do you want here?" asked Jennifer, blocking the entrance. "I want to meet my children, talk to them." "Your children? You abandoned them 4 years ago, Michael." "I know I made mistakes, but I'm their father. I have rights." Jennifer felt the old anger return, but she controlled herself. The children were playing in the backyard and could hear the conversation. "Come in," she said finally, "but we'll talk first." Michael said his relationship with Jessica had ended. He'd lost his job in Milwaukee and was having financial difficulties. He wanted to come back to Chicago and win back his family. "Michael, you don't understand," said Jennifer. "I'm not the same person I was 6 years ago. I learned to live without you. The children did too. But they are my children too." "Yes, they are, and that's why you can visit them. But there's no chance of us being a family like before." Michael accepted the conditions. Jennifer set strict rules: visits only on Saturday afternoons, always in her presence and never taking the children out of the house without permission. The first meeting was awkward. The septuplets, now 6 years old, didn't have many memories of their father. Daniel was the first to approach. "Are you our dad?" he asked, curious. "Yes, son," replied Michael, emotional. "Why did you leave?" questioned Emma, always direct. Michael didn't know how to answer a 6-year-old. "Daddy had to take care of some problems," said Jennifer, avoiding details. "And now are you going to live with us?" asked Jacob. "No, son. Daddy is going to keep living somewhere else, but he will come visit us." Michael's visits became regular. Little by little, the children got used to his presence, but Jennifer kept her distance. She had built an independent life and didn't want to depend on anyone anymore. Dear listener, if you're enjoying the story, please take a moment to like and especially subscribe to the channel. It really helps us who are just starting out. Now continuing. In 2017, when the septuplets were 7 years old and in first grade, a new difficulty arose. Some mothers at the school began treating the children differently. "Jennifer, I need to talk to you," said Christine, the mother of a classmate. "My son said your children are being teased at school." "Teased how?" asked Jennifer, worried. "Some children are calling them the famous ones in a mocking way. They say they think they're better than others." Jennifer was outraged. Her children never acted like they were special for being septuplets. "Christine, my children aren't to blame for being born 7 together. They are normal kids." "I know that, but some mothers don't see it that way. They think you get special treatment because of the fame." Jennifer understood she needed to act. She scheduled a meeting with the school principal to discuss the situation. "Mrs. Woods, my children are being discriminated against for being septuplets. This can't continue." "Jennifer, I will talk to the teachers and the parents, but you need to understand that your family has always attracted attention. It's natural that some people would be jealous." "Jealous of what? Of me raising 7 children alone? Of working 14 hours a day to support my family? That's not it." "But you've already been on television, in the newspapers. Some people think you're privileged." Jennifer left school outraged. How could her struggle be seen as a privilege? The problem got worse when Jacob came home crying one day. "Mom, I don't want to go to school anymore," he said, sobbing. "Why, my son?" "Gabriel said we're liars, that we pretend to be a special family to make money." Jennifer felt her heart tighten. Her children were paying the price for decisions she had made years ago. "Jacob, look at me," she said, kneeling to her son's level. "You're not famous, you're my children. You didn't choose to be born 7 together. That happened naturally, and there's nothing wrong with being special. But I don't want to be special, Mom. I want to be normal like the other boys. Jennifer understood she needed to protect her children's individuality. She talked to each one separately. Emma, how do you feel about being a septuplet? She asked her daughter. Sometimes it's cool, Mom, but sometimes I wish people would know me just as Emma, not as one of the septuplets. And you, Olivia? I like having so many siblings, but at school, everyone always asks if it's true that there are 7 of us. They never ask what I like to do. Jennifer made an important decision. She requested a meeting with all the parents of her children's class. Folks, I want to talk to you about my children, Jennifer began. I understand their situation draws attention, but they are normal children with individual dreams and personalities. Jacob likes to cook, Emma loves to read, Olivia draws very well, William is athletic, Ethan is good at math, Charlotte is affectionate, Daniel is funny. They're not just the septuplets. They are 7 different people who deserve to be treated individually. Jennifer's words touched many of the parents present. Mrs. Karen, the mother of one of Emma's classmates, spoke up. Jennifer, you're right. Sometimes we forget that behind the curiosity there are children who just want to play and study like everyone else. From that meeting on, the environment at school improved. The parents talked to their children about respect and individuality. The septuplets began to feel welcome at school again. In 2018, Jennifer made another important decision. She decided to go back to school. At 38, she enrolled in a psychology course at a private college, studying in the evening. Mom, why do you want to study? Asked Ethan, always curious about numbers and planning. Because I want to help other families who go through what we went through, explained Jennifer. I want to better understand how people feel and how I can help them. Juggling work, caring for 7 children and college was challenging. Jennifer studied in the early morning, after the children were asleep. Grandma Dorothy, now 76, still helped whenever she could. During this period, Michael continued his weekly visits. He had gotten a job at a workshop downtown and was trying to rebuild his life. But Jennifer kept her emotional distance. Jennifer, I still love you, Michael said during a visit. Michael, that time has passed. We're just these children's parents, nothing more. But we formed a beautiful family. We can try again. I don't trust you anymore, and I won't expose my children to another disappointment. Michael insisted for months, but Jennifer stood firm. She had learned to be independent and didn't want to depend emotionally on anyone anymore. In 2019, when the septuplets turned 9, a new professional opportunity arose. The Eastside supermarket chain wanted to hire Jennifer to create a line of frozen sweets. It would be a 2-year partnership, explained Richard Payne, the commercial manager. You would develop recipes, and we would handle production and distribution. And what about my children's image? Asked Jennifer, already suspicious. No exposure of the children. We just want your knowledge and your recipes. Jennifer accepted the proposal. It was a chance to expand her business without exposing the family. For 6 months, she developed 12 frozen dessert recipes that became bestsellers. The contract guaranteed a $3,000 monthly for 2 years, plus a share of the sales. For the first time since the birth of the septuplets, Jennifer felt financially stable. With financial stability, she could focus more on her studies and on the individual development of each child. Jacob, now 9 years old, started taking a kids' cooking class on Saturdays. Emma signed up at the library to join a book club. Olivia started drawing lessons. William joined the school soccer team. Ethan became interested in chess. Charlotte started helping with the church choir. Daniel signed up for a children's theater group. Mom, I'm so happy, said Emma one day. Now I have my own friends, not just friends of the septuplets. I'm happy too, replied Olivia. In drawing class, no one knows I have 6 siblings. They like my drawings, not my story. Jennifer realized she had made the right decision. Her children needed to have their own identities beyond being septuplets. In 2020, when the pandemic hit the US, the family faced new challenges. With 7 children at home doing remote learning, The house turned into a real school. Jennifer organized a detailed schedule. Each child had their own online class time, individual study time, and recreational activity time. The kitchen table was divided into 7 study spaces. "Everyone, we're going to turn our house into the best school in the neighborhood," Jennifer told her children. "Everyone will help each other." The strategy worked. Jacob helped Daniel with English. Emma helped William with history. Olivia helped Ethan with art. Charlotte helped everyone with physical education, creating games in the backyard. During the pandemic, Jennifer's sweets business also changed. With people at home, the demand for dessert delivery increased. Jennifer adapted her menu and started selling through delivery apps. Revenue reached $8,000 per month during the months of lockdown. Jennifer managed to hire 2 more employees and expand production. "Mom, you've become a real businesswoman," joked Ethan, always attentive to the business numbers. "No, son. I became a woman who is not afraid to fight for what she wants." Michael continued visiting the family during the pandemic, respecting all safety protocols. The children, now 10 years old, had a more mature relationship with their father. "Dad, why did you leave when we were little?" asked Daniel during a visit. Michael took a deep breath. The children were old enough for an honest conversation. "Daniel, Daddy made a very big mistake. I was afraid I couldn't take care of all 7 of you. Instead of staying and fighting alongside Mommy, I ran away. It was the biggest foolishness of my life." "And do you regret it?" asked Emma. "Every day, sweetheart. Every day I regret missing your early years." "But you won't leave again now?" asked Charlotte, always concerned with others' feelings. "Never again. Even if Mommy never forgives me, I will always be here for you." Jennifer listened to the conversation from the kitchen. For the first time in years, she felt Michael was being sincere. But that didn't change her decisions. She had built an independent life and was happy that way. In 2021, Jennifer graduated with a degree in psychology. The graduation ceremony was small because of the pandemic, but the whole family was present. "Mom, you are the bravest woman I know," said Jacob during the celebration lunch. "Why do you think that?" asked Jennifer. "Because you raised 7 children alone, built a successful business, and still managed to study. That's incredible." All the septuplets applauded their mother. Jennifer cried with emotion. At 41, she had proven to herself that she was capable of achieving any goal. With her psychology degree, Jennifer opened a small practice in the same building where her sweets business was located. She specialized in family counseling and guidance for mothers in vulnerable situations. Her first case was Joanna, a single mother of triplets who didn't know how to handle the situation. "Jennifer, I just can't do it," Joanna confessed during their first session. "There are 3 babies, I have no family to help, the father disappeared. I don't know what to do anymore." "Joanna, look at me," said Jennifer, taking her patient's hands. "I raised 7 children alone, you can raise 3. We'll find solutions together." Her work as a psychologist gave Jennifer's life new meaning. She used her own experience to help other women in similar situations. In 2022, when the septuplets turned 12 and entered adolescence, new challenges emerged. Each began questioning their identity more deeply. "Mom, I don't want to be known as a septuplet anymore," said William after a fight at school. "I just want to be William." "But you're special because you're a septuplet," Jennifer tried to console him. "I don't want to be special because of that. I want to be special for what I do, for my own merits." Jennifer understood her children were entering the phase of individual identity formation. She decided to seek professional help to handle this transition. Child psychologist Dr. Helen Martin explained, "It was natural for teenagers to reject labels imposed since birth." "Jennifer, your children need to discover who they are beyond being septuplets. It's a necessary phase for healthy personality development." "But how do I do that? They've always been known that way." "You need to reinforce each one's individual qualities. Stop referring to them as the septuplets and start calling them by their names. Encourage separate activities, individual friendships." Jennifer followed the guidance. She stopped accepting interviews about the septuplets and began talking about her children. Each child gained the right to their own activities and friends who didn't necessarily know their siblings. The strategy worked. Gradually, each developed a stronger identity. Jacob became known at school as the boy who cooks really well. Emma became famous for her essays. Olivia won a citywide drawing contest. William stood out in soccer. Ethan created a math project that caught the teacher's attention. Charlotte became her class president. Daniel earned the lead role in the school play. In 2023, Jennifer faced one of her most difficult moments since Michael abandoned her. Grandma Dorothy, her mother, began showing signs of dementia. "Jennifer, I'm not remembering things," confessed Grandma Dorothy one morning. "Yesterday I couldn't remember Daniel's name." Jennifer took her mother to the geriatrician, who confirmed the diagnosis of early Alzheimer's. "It's a progressive disease," explained Dr. Charles Miller. "Your mother will need special care and lots of patience from the family." Caring for Grandma Dorothy and 7 teenagers became an enormous challenge. Jennifer needed to hire a caregiver to stay with her mother during the day while she worked. The septuplets, now 13, understood the seriousness of the situation and organized themselves to help. Each became responsible for caring for their grandmother for 1 hour per day. "Grandma, do you remember when we used to make fudge together?" Jacob would ask, trying to stimulate her memory. "I do remember, my grandson. You were always Grandma's best helper," Grandma Dorothy would answer on her good days. It was during this difficult period that Michael showed real change. He began helping financially with the caregiver costs and started visiting Grandma Dorothy regularly. "Jennifer, I know you don't trust me," said Michael, "but I want to help. Grandma Dorothy always treated me like a son." "Michael, I accept your help, but this changes nothing between us," replied Jennifer. "I understand. I just want to do the right thing this time." Michael's help was crucial during the toughest months. He took on some medical expenses and began staying with Grandma Dorothy on Sundays, giving Jennifer some respite. In September 2023, Jennifer received an unexpected proposal. New Century Press wanted her to write a book about her experience raising septuplets. "It would be a self-help book for mothers in difficult situations," explained editor Patricia Lakes. "Your story could inspire many women." "I don't know if I want to expose my family again," hesitated Jennifer. "It wouldn't be about exposure. It would be about overcoming feminine strength, independence. You turned an impossible situation into a success story." Jennifer discussed the proposal with her children. "Mom, you should write the book," said Emma. "Your story could help other mothers like you help at the practice." "But you'll appear in the book," argued Jennifer. "We've grown up, Mom," said William. "We know how to distinguish our private life from the story that could help other people." Jennifer agreed to write the book. For 6 months, she recounted her journey from discovering the multiple pregnancy to the present day. The book, 7 Hearts, 1 Mother, The True Story of a Special Family, was released in March 2024. The success was immediate. In 3 months, the book sold 50,000 copies. Jennifer began receiving invitations to speak about motherhood, overcoming challenges, and female entrepreneurship. "I never imagined our story could inspire so many people," commented Jennifer during a talk at UChicago. The book royalties provided permanent financial stability for the family. Jennifer managed to pay off the house, buy a new car, and increase savings for all 7 children. In July 2024, when the septuplets turned 14, Jennifer faced a new phase, full adolescence. Each had their own opinions, dreams, and sometimes conflicts. "Mom, why do I have to share a room with Ethan?" complained William. "I want privacy." "Because our house has 3 bedrooms, son. You've always shared everything. But now we're teenagers. We need individual space." Jennifer understood she needed to adapt the house to her teenage children's needs. With the book money, she renovated the attic, creating 2 additional bedrooms. Now Jacob and Daniel shared 1 room, William and Ethan another, Emma and Olivia the third, and Charlotte had her own room in the attic. "Now each pair has their space," said Jennifer, and Charlotte, being the most organized, got her own room. The arrangement caused some initial jealousy, but soon everyone adapted. Having more privacy improved the siblings' relationships. During this period, Grandma Dorothy was going through a more difficult phase of her illness. She didn't always recognize her grandchildren anymore, and there were days she didn't even remember her own daughter. "Who are you, young lady?" she asked Jennifer one morning. "I'm your daughter, Mom. I'm Jennifer." "Jennifer? I don't know any Jennifer. You're in the wrong house." These moments were very painful for the whole family. Jennifer decided to seek help from a support group for families of Alzheimer's patients. "It's normal to feel lost," said Karen, the group coordinator. "You're losing your mother little by little, and that's one of the most difficult pains to face." In the group, Jennifer met others in the same situation and learned strategies to cope with the disease. The most important thing was understanding that Grandma Dorothy was still there, even when she didn't recognize anyone. In December 2024, on New Year's Eve, the family gathered for an important conversation. The septuplets, now 14 and a half years old, were planning their future. "Mom, we want to talk about our plans," said Emma, always the group's spokesperson. "What plans?" asked Jennifer. "Our life plans. We're not always going to be dependent on each other," explained William. Jacob spoke first. "I want to study culinary arts. I want to have my own restaurant someday." "I want to study journalism," said Emma. "I want to write true stories like ours." "I'm going to study visual arts," announced Olivia. "I want to be a children's book illustrator." "Physical education for me," said William. "I want to be a soccer coach." "Business administration," chose Ethan. "I want to help Mom expand the business and then have my own company." "I want to be a special education teacher," said Charlotte. "I want to help those in need like Grandma." "And I'm going to study theater," finished Daniel. "I want to make people laugh like you all laugh with me." Jennifer was moved hearing her children's plans. "You've really thought a lot about this," she commented. "Mom, we grew up watching you fight for your dreams," said Jacob. "Now we want to fight for ours. But we'll always be a family," added Emma, "even if each of us goes our own way." At that moment, Jennifer understood she had fulfilled her mission as a mother. Her 7 children had become people of integrity with their own dreams and the determination to achieve them. In January 2025, the moment Jennifer both feared and hoped for arrived. Grandma Dorothy passed away peacefully in her sleep at 83. The wake was simple but emotional. The entire Riverside Heights community came to pay their last respects to the woman who had helped raise the neighborhood's most famous septuplets. "Grandma was the most generous person I've ever known," said Charlotte during the farewell speech. "She taught us that family is who stands by your side in difficult times." Michael was present at the wake, providing emotional support to the children and respecting Jennifer's grief. "Jennifer, I'm so sorry for your loss," he said discreetly. "Thank you, Michael. She liked you, despite everything. She gave me a chance when I didn't deserve it. I'm going to miss her terribly." Grandma Dorothy's passing marked the end of an era for the family. It was as if the last connection to their difficult past had been broken. Now Jennifer was truly free to build the future. In February 2025, as the septuplets were turning 15, Michael made a decision that surprised everyone. "Jennifer, I want to ask for your hand in marriage again," he said during one of his regular visits. "Michael, we've talked about this many times," Jennifer replied patiently. "I know, but now it's different. I'm not asking you to forgive my past. I'm asking for a chance to build a new future." "And why do you think I should accept?" "Because these last few years have proven to me that you're the most amazing woman I've ever known. You turned an impossible situation into a success story. You're strong, independent, successful. I don't want you to support me anymore. I want to be your true partner." Jennifer was silent for a few minutes. "Michael, I've built an independent life. I don't need a man to complete me anymore." "I know that. I'm not offering to complete you. I'm offering to add to you. We have 7 amazing children together. Maybe we can have an amazing story too." "I need to think." That night, Jennifer spoke with each of the children separately. "Son, what do you think about your father?" she asked Jacob. "Mom, he's changed a lot. In recent years, he's been present, reliable. But the decision is yours." "Emma, what's your opinion?" "Mom, you deserve to be happy. If you think you can be happy with Dad, we support you. If you think it's better to be alone, we support you too." All the answers were similar. The septuplets were mature enough to understand that their mother's happiness didn't depend on them. Jennifer took 2 weeks to give an answer. "Michael, I accept," she finally said. "But with conditions." "What conditions?" "First, we'll date for a year before thinking about marriage. Second, you'll sign a document guaranteeing you have no rights over my business or my properties. Third, any sign that you've gone back to being the irresponsible man you were before, and I'll end everything immediately." "I accept all the conditions," said Michael, emotional. Jennifer and Michael's relationship became the talk of the neighborhood. Many people rooted for the couple. Others thought Jennifer was making a mistake. "Jennifer, are you sure about what you're doing?" asked Sister Margaret during a visit. "I'm not sure about anything, Sister, but I've learned that life is made of calculated risks. This is a risk I can take." In March 2025, the day of the septuplets' 15th birthday arrived. Jennifer organized a special party in the neighborhood church hall. The whole community was invited. The party had a special moment. Each of the septuplets made a speech thanking their mother and talking about their future plans. Jacob was the first. "Mom, you taught me that cooking is an act of love. I want to use that love to feed people and create happy moments like you always created for us." Emma followed. "Mom, you showed me that words have power. I want to use that power to tell stories that inspire others like our story inspires." Olivia was the third. "Mom, you painted our family with colors I didn't even know existed. I want to paint the world with those same colors of hope." William continued. "Mom, you taught me that being strong isn't about never falling. It's about always getting back up. I want to teach that to other boys through sports." Ethan made his declaration. "Mom, you turned the impossible into possible using organization and determination. I want to learn all your secrets to help other families." Charlotte spoke with emotion. "Mom, you took care of all of us with so much love that there was even enough left to care for Grandma and help other mothers. I want to have a heart as big as yours." Daniel finished. "Mom, you taught me that even in the most difficult moments we can find reasons to smile. I want to bring smiles to other people like you always brought to us." Jennifer cried with emotion listening to each child. Michael was also emotional. "You are my greatest pride," said Jennifer, "not because you're septuplets, but because you're honest, generous, and determined people." The party continued late into the night. The whole community celebrated not just the septuplets' birthday, but the triumph of a family that proved love overcomes any adversity. That night, when everyone had gone, Jennifer sat in the backyard looking at the stars. Michael approached and sat beside her. "Jennifer, thank you for giving me a second chance," he said. "Michael, this isn't a second chance. This is a first chance for us to build something new. The past is behind us. Do you think we'll be able to be happy?" "I've learned that happiness isn't a destination, Michael. It's a choice we make every day. I choose to be happy with my children, with my work, with my life. If you're part of that happiness, great. If you're not, I'll still be fine." Michael smiled. For the first time in years, he felt truly accepted, not out of pity or obligation, but on his own merit. The 7 children watched the conversation from the living room window. "Do you think they'll be happy?" asked Charlotte. "Mom is already happy," replied Emma. "If Dad adds something to that, it'll be great. If it doesn't add up, she'll still be happy." "Did you see how she's changed over the years?" Jacob observed. "From an insecure teacher to a successful businesswoman, writer, and psychologist." "And we've changed too," William said. "From the septuplets to 7 different people with our own dreams. Our family is special," Daniel concluded. "Not because there are 7 of us, but because we always support each other." At that moment, the 7 siblings made a silent pact. No matter what paths they chose in life, they would always be connected by the love their mother had planted in each of them. End of story. Now tell me what you thought of this touching story of overcoming adversity. Jennifer managed to turn an impossible situation into a beautiful story of family love. Do you think she made the right decision by giving Michael a second chance? Leave your opinion in the comments and don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss other heartwarming stories like this one.